Part 1, The Spark. I clasp the flask between my hands, even though the warmth from the tea has long since leached into the frozen air. My muscles are clenched tight against the cold. If a pack of wild dogs were to appear at this moment, the odds of scaling a tree before they attack me are not in my favor. I should get up, move around, and work out the stiffness from my limbs. But instead I sit, as motionless as a rock beneath me, while the dawn begins to lighten the woods. I can't fight the sun. I can only watch helplessly as it drags me into the day that I've been dreading for months. By noon, they'll be at my new house in Victor's Village. The reporters, the camera crews, even Effie Trinket, my old escort, will have made their way to District 12 from the capital. I wonder if Effie will still be wearing that silly pink wig, or if she'll be sporting some other unnatural color, especially for the victory tour. There will be others waiting too, a staff to cater to my every need on the long train trip, a prep team to beautify me for public appearances, my stylist and friend, Cinna, who has designed the gorgeous outfit that first made the audience take notice of me in the Hunger Games. If it were up to me, I would try to forget the Hunger Games entirely. Never speak of them. Pretend they were nothing but a bad dream. But the victory tour makes that impossible. The victory tour makes that impossible. Strategically placed almost midway between annual games, it is the Capitol's way of keeping the horror fresh and immediate. Not only are we in the districts forced to remember the iron grip of the Capitol's power each year, we are forced to celebrate it. And this year, I'm one of the stars of the show. I will have to travel from district to district to stand before the cheering crowds who secretly loathe me, to look down into the faces of the families whose children I've killed. The sun persists in rising, so I make myself stand. All my joints complain. My left leg has been asleep for so long that it takes several minutes of pacing to bring the feeling back into it. I've been in the woods 3 hours, but as I've made no real attempt at hunting, I have nothing to show for it. It doesn't matter for my mother and little sister Prim anymore. They can afford to buy butcher meat in town, although none of us likes it any better than the fresh game. But my best friend Gail Hawthorne and his family will be depending upon today's haul, and I can't let them down. I start the hour and a half trek it will take to cover our snare line. Back when we were in school, we had time in the afternoons to check the line and to hunt and to gather and still get back to trade in town. But now that Gail has gone to work in the coal mines, I have nothing to do all day. I've taken over the job. By this time, Gail will have clocked into the mines, taken the stomach-churning elevator ride into the depths of the earth, and be pounding away at the coal seam. I know what it's like down there. Every year in school, as part of our training, my class had to go on a tour of the mines. When I was little, it was unpleasant. The claustrophobic tunnels, foul air, suffocating darkness on all sides. But after my father and several other miners were killed in the explosion, I could barely force myself onto the elevator. The annual trip became an enormous source of anxiety. Twice I made myself so sick with anticipation of it, my mother kept me home because she thought for sure I had contracted the flu. I think of Gail, who is really alive in the woods, with its fresh air and sunshine and clean flowing water. I don't know how he stands it. Well, yes, I do. He stands it because it's a way to feed his mother and 2 younger brothers and sisters. And here I am with buckets of money, far more than enough to feed both our families now. And he won't take a single coin. It's even hard for him to let me bring in meat, although he surely would have kept my mother and Prim supplied if I'd been killed in the games. I tell him he's doing me a favor, that it drives me nuts to sit around all day. Even so, I never drop off the game while he's at home, which is easy since he works 12 hours a day. The only time I really get to see Gail now is on Sundays, when we meet up in the woods to hunt together. It's still the best day of the week, but it's not like it used to be before, when we could tell each other anything. The games have spoiled that. I keep hoping that as time passes, we'll regain the ease between us, but part of me knows it's futile. There's no going back. I get a good haul from the traps. 8 rabbits, 2 squirrels, and a beaver that swam into a wire contraption Gale designed himself. He's something of a whiz with snares, rigging them to bent saplings so they pull the kill out of the reach of predators, balancing logs on delicate stick triggers, weaving inescapable baskets to capture fish. As they go along, carefully resetting each snare. I know I can never quite replicate his eye for balance, his instinct for where prey will cross the path. It's more than experience. It's a natural gift. Like the way I can shoot an animal in almost complete darkness and still take it down with one arrow.